Next now to the U.S. and that big win for Donald Trump from the Supreme Court. It's ruled that presidents can have broad immunity from prosecution for all official acts. Current President Joe Biden calling that move a dangerous precedent. But we're going to talk about that more now with our international affairs commentator, Doug Herbert, who joins me on the set. Doug, this decision had been eagerly awaited for months. What exactly did it say, and why is it so significant?
Well, eagerly awaited, but I have to underline that this is also an audaciously, boldly political decision, right, handed down by 6 Republican appointees on a court where they have a supermajority. Look, the legal scholars are saying that effectively this is going to reverberate not just across the election, but perhaps across future presidencies, that this is basically a sledgehammer to the accountability of executive power, the accountability of presidents. And it's really an extraordinary, that's the only word to use, an extraordinary expansion of executive power. It's essentially the Supreme Court, 6-3, giving the chief executive of the U.S., the president, the authority to do practically whatever he wants, whenever he wants, without being able to be held accountable by either the Supreme Court or the judicial branch or by Congress. So specifically, it gives the president what's called absolute immunity, right? It sounds like a movie title. Absolute immunity, absolute power, for anything that he does, all actions he takes while exercising what the Constitution calls his core responsibilities. But it also gives him, and here's where it gets even trickier, the presumption of immunity when he's simply exercising official acts. Up to you to decide what are his official acts, what aren't his official acts. So you could splice that any way you want. The justices, though, go further. And they basically also say that he's presumed immune from prosecution for even, say, pressuring his then vice president, Mike Pence. I just want you to know, Sonia Sotomayor, in a dissenting opinion, 1 of 3, look what she said. Essentially, look what he can do now. It's a lawless zone, she said. He can order the Navy SEALs team to assassinate a political rival, immune from that. Organizes a military coup to hold on to power, immune. Takes a bribe in exchange for a pardon, immune, 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 immune. Now, she is 1 of 3 justices who issued a very forceful dissenting opinion. But like I said, she is way overruled on a court that has a conservative supermajority, 3 of whom are judges appointed by Donald Trump, overruled by them. This precedent is now going to stand for a while, perhaps for a generation or more.
So what happens moving forward? I mean, Trump is still awaiting trials in other criminal cases. What happens there?
Nothing happens there. Those trials are not going to happen. In a nutshell right now, this trial is already being challenged. And we've even heard Trump's lawyers making noises in the past 24 hours about trying to throw out his conviction in the hush money case. You could roll your eyes a little bit. They're actually talking about that. That's how much this is going to reverberate. As far as for the immediate pending trials, which already seem like they weren't going to happen before the November election. The court has basically punted down this whole overturning the election case back down to a lower court. The lower court where it had been before it went up to the Supreme Court. That's already going to delay it at least 3 to 4 months, so not within time of the November election. And what are you going to have? The lower court judge is now going to have to decide what parts of the case are permissible for criminal prosecution given this new Supreme Court ruling. It gets extremely complicated. So like I said, not happening now. Those cases, you could take them off the radar. Trump will not have any legal jeopardy from now until November.
So how are the Democrats responding to all of this?
Not well. Look, this has been an extremely, to put it mildly, bad week for the Democrats and the Biden administration in particular, right? You had that miserable debate performance, universally deemed miserable. Then you had yesterday the Supreme Court in a series of rulings basically limiting the ability of the federal government to prosecute the January 6th defendants. And now you have this coming down, which basically grants Trump all but absolute immunity for everything but his unofficial acts. Biden, you can hear what he actually said. He's trying to say that this is a grave blow to the rule of law.
Today's decision almost certainly means that there are virtually no limits on what a president can do. This is a fundamentally new principle, and it's a dangerous precedent because the power of the office will no longer be constrained by the law, even including the Supreme Court of the United States. The only limits will be self-imposed by the president alone.
Biden's hands are tied. Even the very left wing of his party, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, is saying she would like to file articles of impeachment against the Supreme Court justices. I can only say good luck with that. It's probably not going to happen. A big victory for Donald Trump in the highest court of the land.